Objective A. Simplify a complex rational expression. To simplify complex rational expressions, your main goal is to identify the LCD, and then you multiply both the top and the bottom by the LCD. So let's look at number 1. 5 over 6 minus 1 over 2 over 4 over 9 plus 1 over 3. By finding out LCD, we will be able to get rid of all the denominators that are within the entire rational expression. How do you find out LCD? Well, you're going to look at the denominators. 6, 2, 9, 3. And you're going to ask yourself, what is the least common multiple of these 4 numbers? The minimum number that's divisible by 6, 2, 9, and 3. So in this case, the easiest way to find it is starting with the largest denominator. The largest denominator is 9. So what you do is you're going to check whether or not 9 is divisible by all the other denominators. Is 9 divisible by 6? No. If your answer is no to any of the question, you're going to move on to the next multiple of 9. In this case, it will be 18. And then you're going to ask yourself again, is 18 divisible by 6? Yes. Is 18 divisible by 2? Yes. Is 18 divisible by 3? Yes. And that 18 is our LCD. Make sure that you answer yes to all the questions. If there is one no, then that means you have to move on to the next multiple of the largest denominator. And that is, in my opinion, the quickest way to find out the least common denominator of multiple numbers. Once we have this LCD, that means we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by this LCD 18. For the first example, I'm going to do a step-by-step, but for the other examples, I'm going to quickly move to the second step right away. So first thing I do is I'm going to distribute this 18 to the top and the bottom. And notice that I didn't do any calculation because I want to show you what's going to happen once you multiply both the top and the bottom by LCD 18. On the top, so 5 over 6 times 18. Personally, I like to cross them out right away. So you cross out the 6 and then you cross out the 18. Write a 3 next to 18 because 18 divided by 6 is 3. And notice that there's no denominator there. That's the whole goal. If you still have a denominator, either you calculate it incorrectly or your LCD is not correct. Second part, 1 over 2 times 18. Cross out the 2, cross out the 18, and then write a 9 next to 18 because 18 divided by 2 is 9. Same thing for the bottom part. Cross out 9, cross out 18, write a 2 next to 18. Cross out 3, cross out 18, write a 6 next to 18. That does require you to know your multiplication table very well in order to do this process rather quickly. Once you finish this part, you're going to write down what's left. And again, we still have our main floor. Do that first. And then on the top, first part, it's 5 times 3. You could write the result right away. It's 15. Copy the sign, which is a minus sign. 1 times 9, that is 9. For the bottom, the first part is 4 times 2, that is 8. Copy the sign, plus. And then 1 times 6, that is 6. And that is basically all you need to do, simplifying and getting rid of all the denominators. And we have something really simple to calculate. 15 minus 9, that is 6. Over 8 plus 6, that is 14. 6 over 14 can be further simplified to 3 over 7. And that will be our final answer to number 1. Moving on to number 3. X plus 5 over 5x over x plus 2 over 10x squared. First, highlight all the denominators. We have 5x, we have 10x squared. Your job is to find out the least common denominator of these two parts. LCD in this case will be, first check out the numerical parts. 5 and 10, the least common denominator will be 10. And then variable part, you only have an x, and you're going to take the highest power that it appears in each denominator. The highest power is square, so that will be in your LCD, and our LCD will simply be 10x squared. Once you find our LCD, we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by our LCD. So multiply the top by 10x squared, multiply the bottom by 10x squared. For this case, I'm going to write my result right away. I could do the bottom part first. Why? Is because the bottom part, I could simply cross out the denominator with the 10x squared. They cancel out. All I have left is simply x plus 2. As for the bottom part, the top part, I can cross out the 5 with the 10 and write a 2 next to 10. I could cross out 1x with 1x from the top, so cross out the x and the 2, which is the square, and then you have an x left. And let's write down what's left on the top. You have x plus 5 multiplied by 2x. And then we're going to distribute the numerator. You have 2x squared plus 10x over x plus 2. And that will be our final answer to number 3. Number 5. X minus 10 over 5 over 3x minus 30 over 15. First, highlight our denominators. We have two denominators, 5 and 15. They're numerical, so it's very easy to identify LCD. It's simply 15. And then I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by 15. Let's cross out some common factors. The bottom one, 15 and 15 got canceled out. The top, 5 and 15 also got canceled out, but you're going to write a 3 next to 15. And then we're going to multiply each part. Let's do the denominator first. Since I cancel out the denominator, there's nothing left. It's just the numerator 3x minus 30. As for the top, we have to distribute the 3 into x minus 10. So you have to multiply x minus 10 by 3. And you're going to get 3x minus 30. Notice that they're exactly the same. Therefore, we could just cross out the top and the bottom. And the final answer will simply be 1. And that's number 5. Number 7. 1 over a plus 3 over b over 5 over a minus 2 over b. Same thing. First, let's highlight all the denominators. So we have a, we have b, we have a, we have b. Those are all the denominators. And then we're going to determine our LCD. So write down different factors that you see in all denominators. We have a, we have b. Either of them appears at most once. Therefore, LCD is simply AB. And we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by this LCD AB. On the top, it's 1 over a times AB plus 3 over b times AB over 5 over a times AB minus 2 over b times AB. And now it's the satisfying part of crossing out. So I'm going to cross out the a and a right here, cross out the b and b, cross out the a and a, cross out the b and b. Let's write down what's left. On the top, you have a b plus 3a. As for the bottom, we have 5b minus 2a. Unfortunately, that's all that we can do. We cannot simplify or combine like terms. And that's the answer to number 7. Number 9. First, highlight all the denominators. We have x squared, we have x. Therefore, our LCD is simply the factor that you see in the denominator, which is x, raised to the highest power, which is 2. That means we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by x squared. So here is where a lot of people make mistakes. When you distribute x squared, do not forget that you have to multiply every single term by x squared. And we have two terms on the top. First term is 1, so you have to do 1 times x squared, which gives you x squared. And the second term, if you multiply, actually, let me just do step by step. So you have 1 times x squared minus 25 over x squared times x squared. Denominator, 1 times x squared minus 5 over x times x squared. And then we are going to cross out some common factors. X squared and x squared, they cancel out. X and the 2 cancel out. You have 1x left. Let's write down what's left. 1 times x squared is x squared minus 25. As for the bottom, you have x squared minus 5x. It does look like that's the final answer. However, we are able to factor the top and the bottom and do some simplification. On the top, it's the difference between two perfect squares. So we're going to use the formula factor as x plus 5 times x minus 5. For the bottom one, we could take out GCF of x and write down as x times x minus 5. Notice that we do have a common factor of x minus 5, so cross it out. And we have x plus 5 over x as your final answer to number 9. Number 11 is very similar to number 9. First, check out all the denominators. You have x, you have x. Therefore, that's the only factor that you see. LCD is x. So I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by x. This time I'm going to multiply straight away. So you will have 6x plus 10 on the top over 3x plus 5 on the bottom. Can we simplify this? The answer is possibly. Let's try it. Factor out a common factor of 2 from the top. We have 3x plus 5 left over 3x plus 5. Indeed, we can simplify this. We have a common factor of 3x plus 5. So cross it out. And our final answer is 2. That's the answer to number 11. Number 13, it's a word problem. An expression from the study of electricity is given by this one, and they want you to simplify this expression. This expression looks like a complex rational expression, so let's highlight all the denominators. We have 4r, we have r plus 2. Now let's find out the LCD. You're going to write down different factors. In this case, the different factors are simply 4, that's one of them, r, that's another one, and you also have r plus 2, that's also another one. All of them appear at most once across all the rational expressions, so this is your LCD, 4r times r plus 2. And that means we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by this LCD. So I'm going to write in red. On the top, multiply by this. On the bottom, I'm going to distribute and multiply by this LCD. Looks like I need a longer fraction bar, no problem. And then let's do some crossing. 4r and 4r, you could cross them out. r plus 2 and r plus 2, you could cross them out. And let's write down what's left after you cross everything out. On the top, I'm gonna multiply out. You have 4vr times r plus 2. Or if you distribute, it's gonna give you 4vr squared plus 8vr. As for the denominator, the first part will be r plus 2, and then the second part will be plus 4r. And again, we could combine like terms in the denominator. You have 4VR squared plus AVR over 5R plus 2. It looks a little bit crazy, but that it is our final answer after you simplify that complex rational expression in number 13. And that's it for 7.4. Thanks for watching.